Hello again, and welcome back to Adobe Live. My name is Howard Pinsky, Senior XD Evangelist at Adobe, joined by the one and only Michael Kochenburger. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Excited to be here?
It's been a lot of fun. Adobe headquarters is amazing.
Isn't it cool?
Yeah.
This is our third stream of the day. We're kicking off UI and UX week we had Peter Del Tondo. I always mess that up. We had Evan Place, who's birthday boy just in the back over there. And we now have Michael, who's going to be designing a voice-powered, I guess it's not a mobile app. It's more of like
It's a Fire TV, Alexa kind of app.
Yeah, which is really cool. We've never had anyone design for voice on Adobe Live, which I'm super excited for this.
Yeah, I'm excited too. It was a first for me as well, so it's going to be good. There will be a little bit of a learning curve, so
That's okay.
Yeah.
Things will happen. We will work them out together. And if you're unfamiliar with Michael's work, if you head over to madebycoco.com, K-O-C-O, he has this really cool website with this animated little robot at the top, which you could probably animate in Adobe XD.
Yeah, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, you could animate that robot in XD. You could even animate logos and all that kinds of stuff because you can attach it to different elements.
This could be the assistant for the voice.
It could. Whoa.
Now we're just like getting into whole new territories.
This is getting dynamic.
So definitely check him out, and you'll obviously be seeing some of his work. And if you're just joining us, we also have a daily challenge going on where you can win a 1-year subscription to Creative Cloud. Who doesn't want that? I want that.
I want that. So.
Michael wants that. But if you go, if you're on Behance and you go to the challenge tab at the top right, there's all the details. And basically today, you're designing a home screen for your personal website or blog.
Wow.
Using Adobe XD. And you submit it through WooBox, and at probably about 30 minutes before the stream ends, we're gonna be taking a look at them. And then tonight, we're gonna pick a winner, and tomorrow morning, we're going to announce that winner. Super exciting.
Yeah.
And then about half an hour into this stream, there's gonna be fireworks behind us, and we're gonna be giving away 100 stickers from Sticker Mule. Dude. Who doesn't want stickers? My laptop needs some stickers.
I'm gonna enter an unfold sticker right now.
Yeah. Alrighty. Should we begin?
Let's do this.
Let's do it.
So we ready to go?
Go for it. Dive in.
So how we would start off kind of any situation where you're dealing with a new problem. You're gonna start off by kind of dissecting the client. You're gonna dissect the challenges, the intention behind what you're doing, and then you're gonna kind of work through a low-level list of what kind of screens that you need. So when you, so let's just go through this. I got this going in Agenda. The client overview, this Flix, by the way, is the client that we're gonna be talking about. They're a fake client, totally made up by me. Flix is not a real app, so if you go and look for it, I don't know what you'll find.
Maybe they'll turn into something real one day. Who knows?
Maybe. So Flix is a Fandango competitor looking for a new innovative space to move their ticket reservation service to. They are particularly interested in the burgeoning Alexa app space and want to see how ticket reservation could work in that space. So there's a lot of competitors out there. I think movies.com, Fandango, all excited or not all excited, but all trying to obviously compete for your attention, compete for your purchase. So Flix, wanting to kind of get into a different space in a weird angle, is going to try to do it through the Fire TV and the Alexa. So, and the intent is to build a fully voice-enabled app for Alexa Echo Show and Fire TV/Fire Stick. Fire Sticks have the Fire Remote where you can hold a button and then you can talk through it.
Right.
So that's really cool. So this should work with that as well. So the problem is how to make a voice-enabled app that isn't overly bloated. So that's really easy to do, especially with kind of a menu, not a menu, but a movie app is not to infuse it with too many details, especially if it's voice-enabled.
Yep.
You don't need that much. There needs to be time-effective and cost-effective solution, or else people are just going to whip out their phone and use that to book through proven solutions. And then, so the solution is just to create a simple, easy-to-use app that builds excitement for the movie and takes very little time to get through. So what's cool about this is what the content's going to be on a big screen. So it'll just be really theatric, and basically they'll be able to show off their screenshots and everything.
Yeah, it gives you a lot of space to really showcase the posters, possibly movie trailers, Rotten Tomato scores, things like that.
Right on. Yeah. And then I got a list of screens here. You got to play within Amazon's screens first. So the first two are the Amazon overview screen, which is going to basically just tell you a little bit about your day, if you got appointments and whatnot. And then weather screen, Flix Splash. And then you're just going to move through movie picking, single movie info, theater selection, theater screen types, screen type and show times, seat selection, checkout, and confirmation. So these, I know that's kind of going through a list and it's not the most engaging, but to have something kind of clear and concise out there to just direct your focus is super helpful. And Anel Henning is kind of echoing that sentiment right now. So
it really does help. Otherwise, your creative mind will just go all over the place, and you'll end up with so many different screens that you probably don't need. And then, like you said, it's just going to get bloated.
Yeah.
And with a voice-powered assistant, that's the last thing you want.
Yeah, you want it to be sharp, basically. All right, so let's get right into XD.
Go for it.
So I already have kind of a pre-made screen, but let's go through as if this didn't exist and I was just starting off brand new. So you would just start it up and you would view this screen, and you got your kind of general templates that they have in here. So iPhone, iPad, web, and a custom size, of course. So for this, we're gonna set ours to a 1080p screen. It's still mainly what people have in their homes. Obviously 4K is slowly becoming that new standard.
It's getting there.
But we're gonna focus on the 1080p for today.
Nice.
And you would just click that and immediately you have this screen that's sized perfectly for that space. So, and also starting this off, I did a little cursory research to see if some of the front weight of wireframing could be handled differently. And there is actually a UI kit that exists in Behance by, I think her name is pronounced Sus Sonderby.
I believe so.
And she made this very dynamic UI kit for this. And I'm just gonna pull that up real quick.
It's definitely a great UI kit. And if you're just starting to get into voice controls in XD, especially if you want to do it for Amazon devices, grab this UI kit from Behance. It's going to help a lot.
Yeah, exactly. And another good thing is that the more things you can kind of pull in from Amazon, like Flix has its own experience, right? But it's living within an Amazon atmosphere. So you kind of need to make sure that some of these things are looking at least similar. So we're going to be using some of the icon sets from this UI kit, and some of the buttons and all that. So yeah, I've already pulled in the icons, and I've went through and I've kind of labeled my H1 sizes and all that. My H1, D2, D3. Probably should have put H2, H3, but
that's okay.
Yeah, we're good.
It happens.
And yeah, so let's get cranking. Let me just pull
now,
this up real quick.
when you're creating those little style guide on the side, do you use the assets panel and throw those character styles in there as well?
Yeah, you can. Right now, I'm just going to be pulling it out, but that's actually probably a more efficient way to do it. I'm just kind of like pulling it in quick and dirty to try to.
No, that works too. Everyone has their own way of designing.
Yeah, let me go ahead and get going. So we'll see in this UI kit that not only do they have kind of these icons and all that, they also have some of these like kind of generalist screens. And what we're gonna do is go ahead and just pull that right in. and I'm just gonna copy and paste. So it's already in my document, and I don't need to reinvent the wheel with Amazon's front end stuff. They've already done a lot of work to make it look good.
Yep. And it also comes with a few extra background images if you don't want the polar bear. There's a few at the bottom that you can reveal and hide as well.
Right on. Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of lock these. And just pull in this stuff. This kind of, and remember, this is a wireframe. So this is going to be really, really quick. You're not supposed to spend like a lot of time making everything perfect. You don't want to dwell too much here because it's really just about getting ideas on the screen.
Yep.
So even like spacing stuff, you can go through and kind of space it out to get a better idea, to flesh out the idea just a little bit more. But really, I'm not even going through. That's a little bit off, but that's cool.
Okay. Unless you're Peter, who's so pixel perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy he is a mad wizard.
He is.
In the UI UX world, so. And so we have already got this kind of going. You can pull in this hint, but honestly, I think a lot of people kind of get what they can do at this home screen.
Yep.
We're actually going to change this to. No, I'm just going to keep it that way. So just real quick, we're just going to dupe this whole screen. And so you have this kind of a template copy right here. We can just change that and just go John, and maybe he's got brunch, or maybe he's going to like a meeting or something like that. So I don't know who John Stokes is. I just created him right now. So if there's a John Stokes watching this,
there might be. You never
I might
know.
have just channeled you. So. And then it's at 10 a.m. tomorrow, 3 upcoming events. This is all good. So we can just move on. And so in this instance, we have a little bit of a scenario. So imagine you're a user and you're hoping to kind of have a cool day. Let's say it's Saturday, and you want to go out and maybe do something. But you look at the weather and you say, man, let's find out how the weather's going to go today. And here,
I live in LA, the weather's always the same.
Yeah.
It never changes.
That is true. That's what I've noticed.
But scenarios are good. I like scenarios because that really gets you in the mindset of a user.
Right on. So we're just going to kind of pull this in.
It's raining. You clearly don't live in California.
Yeah, well. Yeah, I grew up in Florida.
Oh, you're used to rain.
Yeah. So I'm used to rain.
Yeah, I lived
and
there
the
for
rain
5
lasts
years
for
and
2 minutes.
Didn't stop raining.
Yeah. It lasts for 2 minutes.
Anel
off,
knows.
And then it's sunny.
Yeah.
And it's just the most bizarre thing.
Craziest thing.
So we're just gonna pull that in real quick. Not gonna focus too much on it, but we are setting the stage for our scenario.
Awesome.
And maybe it's like 52. So it's like an overcast.
That sounds like a terrible
cool
day.
Yeah. And I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this. Pull this over because we don't need to do double work. So notice that when I just copy and pasted that and pasted it right into here, it was the exact space.
Nice. And for those who are in the chat, let us know where you're from. We had Anel from Florida, Tennessee. Where else are you from? We'd love to know.
Yeah. And so here we're gonna, so say he's gonna say like, hey, what's the weather going to be today?
North Carolina, Chattanooga, Cape Town, nice, Puerto Rico, Poland. That's what I love about Adobe Lives. People from all over the world.
Right. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna build out real quick, just super quick wireframes of how like maybe a full day of weather would look on the Amazon Alexa Fire TV
Nice.
thing. So we're just gonna kind of pull this in. Let's say this is now, and for some reason it's, there we go. Oop.
New Zealand, India. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's say this is now, and for some reason it keeps pulling in this typeface, but and we're just gonna bold that because it's what's going on right now. And then move that to the side. And then let's say that the whole day is just gonna be kind of droopy.
It's very depressing.
Yeah. Here we go. I actually forget that I have some assets right here. Just gonna pull that in, maybe make it a little bit bigger. And then we'll pull in our current weather. Once again, just super fast. Okay. Yeah. And what we get to do with this, I'm gonna kind of shrink this up a little bit. And we're just gonna repeat the grid.
I love repeat grids.
So here we go. So already we have this moving. And then, so let's say it's like 12. PM. So on and so forth. We actually don't even need to really go through. Let's just say it's going to be like 52 all day. And it's just going to be kind of rainy all day.
I don't want to live
And
there.
we're just like, yuck. Alexa, let's go see a movie today, I guess, since it's going to be so trashy.
There we go.
So then we're going to start building out our splash page.
And what's cool about repeat grids, if you did want to actually fill in all that information and you had many, many hours of the day, you can basically have a plain text document with a bunch of different temperature values. And if you drag that text document onto any one of those temperatures, it just populates the entire thing. It's really cool.
That
It
is
works with
crazy.
images and text. It's neat.
All right, here we go. We're just gonna pull in our Flix logo that I totally
It's beautiful.
didn't spend too much time on. So we're just gonna keep cruising. Splash screens are super simple. We don't need to spend much time on that. It's just basically telling you that it's moving into a new space. And
just so the viewers can see, try making that screen full screen so it fills your entire little green guy up there.
right on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just not even. Sorry, I need to look out for you guys.
That's
out
okay.
there.
It happens.
All right, so we're gonna start here. We're gonna start showing like this is where we would start showing like the movie selection
Nice.
that exists out there. So we're just gonna call this movie selection.
I can't remember the last time I actually saw a movie.
What? What is the last movie you saw?
I don't even know. Probably before my daughter was born, about 2 years ago.
All right, man.
I honestly can't remember the
Do
last
we
time.
need to go see a movie? I mean, later, just to
I
get
would
you
love
to
to see
break
a
this
movie.
cycle. All right.
Maybe I can use your app to recommend me a movie,
That would be actually pretty cool.
right?
So in this app, we're gonna use. I like to use the typeface Poppins.
Poppins.
Poppins is like just a really fun typeface. It's kind of got fun built into it. It's just pretty fun, and we're just gonna start moving. So, what movie do you want to see?
It is kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's a little bit soft, but good. Good
Yeah.
soft. Like a little roundedness going on.
Okay, and so another interesting thing is we want to keep the content for these movies. We want to make that the top. Yeah, and I see Adriano Silva talking about The First Man. That's cool, man, because that's actually what we're going to feature tomorrow when we go through the designs of this. We want to make sure that the movie content becomes front and center because the movie content is so cool. We want to make people, even in these early screens, we want to make them excited about what they're about to see. So we're going to, but we also want them to know that they're in Flix. So you have to deal with this kind of juxtaposition of intentions. You want your brand value to be out there, but you also want your content to stand out.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just gonna move this aside if I can, very quick, and just bring it in. I'm actually gonna make this dark. Let's go with, we'll just go with super dark. Get rid of the border. Gonna just loosely line that up. And here we go, now we're cooking with gas.
It's already looking better on a black background.
Yeah.
Something about a black background and white text is just really elegant.
Yeah.
I know it's not gonna stay this way, but it looks great.
Yeah. And we can just, let's add more to this one, and then we'll just repeat grid, and so that way all of our information is just out there.
And Val mentioned 7 minutes until chat and win, and you're gonna see some fireworks behind us, and all you have to do is type anything in the chat and you'll be entered to win 100 stickers from Sticker Mule. So stay tuned for that.
Wow, okay. So this is just movie one, and then we're gonna have our, let's make this kind of lighter. And we're just gonna have our movie one image. And kind of just roughly line that up. It's not perfect, but it doesn't need to be, so it's okay. Cool. So as you can see, repeat grid is super powerful. We went ahead and just duplicated this through, and we can just go through, and we need a little visual representation. We can do that.
Yeah, it just makes your life so much easier, especially if you have to make changes later on. Even though you can override images and text, but if you wanted to move that text to the center of that movie, you can easily do that, and it updates on all of them. You don't have to do that manually every single time.
And I'm gonna be definitely utilizing a lot more of these kind of centering, you know, like the orientation stuff when we actually do the full design tomorrow. Because right now, like I've been saying ad nauseum probably, it's just quick and dirty. Okay, so now we're gonna be moving into our, let's say from here, we select movie one, say, and we just wanna get information about it. So here we're gonna start kind of boiling that down.
Oh, Eduardo missed the news. You can now animate assets in Adobe XD.
Yeah.
And Michael's gonna be showing off some of that stuff.
Yeah, this.
Today or tomorrow.
Yeah, it's gonna be incredible. I have some exciting things that have already started to make for Thursday. Especially the auto animate feature for Adobe XD. It is crazy.
It's pretty cool.
You had this video. I think Peter talked about it a little bit ago. But it's basically these mountains kind of falling, and then behind it, this text comes up with more mountains. It's this gorgeous parallax effect.
If I hop over to my screen, I can show it very quickly, just to kind of give you a peek into what you can do with Adobe XD. And there's so much you can do, and we've seen already a lot of really cool examples of how you can use auto animate. But basically, in this artboard here, I just have, an image of mountains I extracted from Photoshop. There's some text behind it and a background image. There really isn't anything crazy. And this was actually designed in Photoshop, and I just brought this into Adobe XD and all the layers were there. And with this artboard selected, you just have this really cool parallax effect, and the text comes up, it gets a little bit bigger, the background gets a little bit smaller, the mountains get a lot smaller, and then you can combine that with like image galleries and things like that, and time transitions. There's just so much you can do, and one of the fun things I did, it was yesterday I think, this hamburger.
Whoa, that's pretty cool.
It just explodes. You drag effects to get rid of the pickles and the onions, because no one likes those, except Anel. Anel loves pickles. Yeah, I kind of did some of this on the stream yesterday. It's just really cool, the stuff that you can do just with auto animate in XD. And all you have to do is just design the different states. You don't have to worry about timelines or keyframings. Adobe XD takes care of all that. It's neat.
Yeah. So, back
to Michael.
Back to what we're doing here.
I distracted him.
We want, like I've been saying, we want this content, this movie content, which will be First Man, to just super stand out. And the way to do that is to make sure that this is nice and big.
Yep.
So those movie posters that are just gorgeous, we're gonna have that nice and big here. And then in the background, we're maybe gonna have another, we're gonna maybe have like something kind of fading into color in this background. So we wanna kind of leave space at this top, and we're gonna put a little back button right here to make sure people know that they can get back. Some visual cues are gonna help go a long way in this.
Yeah, because you have to remember that even though a big part of this app is voice,
yeah,
there's also a visual aspect to it. Some people may not want to use their voice, they may just want to touch it, depending on the device. Obviously, if it's a TV, they probably can't reach and touch it.
Right.
But they can use their remote to kind of navigate throughout the app. Or if it is a touch-enabled device, they can do that.
Yeah, and it's also, I mean, with some people, they're gonna go to a screen and it's not gonna be readily apparent that they can just go back.
That's true.
So having like a little visual cue that's kind of saying, yeah, you can go back from here. It's fine.
Right.
If you don't want to just focus on this movie, let's just get out of here. So, I'm just gonna real quick pull in this. I'm using Nucleo icons.
Oh yeah, Nucleo's
And I'm just gonna
great.
pull in just a back button. This is probably not what it's gonna end up being.
That's
but
okay.
Whatever.
It works for now.
Yeah.
And we're making Val hungry. Sorry.
Yeah, that burger was really cool. I saw you working on that earlier. It's
pretty fun.
awesome.
And everyone's talking about different foods and chicken strips and eggs.
Okay, so I got to talk about the greatest pizza that I had yesterday.
Oh, tell me more.
There's a place here in town called Tony's, I believe.
Okay.
And they had this incredible, it's called the Cal Italia pizza, and out of this world. Apparently it won awards in like Naples, Italy, which is the birthplace of pizza, FYI. And it was probably the best pizza I've ever had. So shout out to San Francisco and shout out to
Now you're making me feel
Tony's.
bad because I had a $14 very tiny room service pizza yesterday and I was not feeling it.
Oh man.
I gotta find Tony's.
All right, so actually I'm gonna go ahead and pull over from my hierarchy here. Sorry if I'm zipping around. Let me go ahead and make this big since I pulled in that icon.
Now Kevin wants pizza.
Dude, pizza. Is that Kevin Root?
Root.
Oh man. He's a fun fact. That's my brother-in-law. So
there you go. Yeah, family in the house.
Yeah.
And it's almost time for chat and win. Get ready. It's time.
Oh snap.
Here we go. There's the fireworks. So just in a second, we're gonna have a video that's gonna come up, a really cool animation. And once that happens, just start typing. Let us know what your favorite movie is, or maybe the last movie, whatever. Type a movie, and then we'll see you in a second.
All right, let's do it.
You know those movies.
Oh my, yeah.
I want stickers. I don't think it's a movie.
That would be such an
What's the last
interesting
movie you saw?
Oh, man. Oh, well, now I'm spacing.
Was it the space movie?
Wow.
Interstellar? I saw Interstellar. Maybe that was one of the last movies. That's sad. No,
Dude.
I hope it wasn't the last movie I saw.
If that's the last movie you saw,
In a theater.
that is okay. That movie is absolutely
I love
amazing.
Interstellar.
I'm a sci-fi
Yeah, me
junkie,
too.
and that movie was incredible.
It was very good. And there's something about, I'm blanking on his name.
Matthew McConaughey?
Matthew McConaughey. All right.
I could have said
There's something
Michael
about him
Caine.
that's just so...
I could have said any number. Like,
no,
all
I would
the
have
actors
known.
on that are
Oh, yeah,
incredible.
well, yeah. And Louise, we have a winner.
Oh,
Congratulations.
snap.
You just won 100 stickers from stickermule.com. And if you did not win, you also did not lose.
Oh.
Ooh. If you go to Adobe Sticker Mule, where's the thing? Up there. Stickermule.com/Adobe Live. You can get 10 free stickers just by being awesome.
That's
Free
that's pretty
shipping
cool.
worldwide. They're really cool stuff. I've had a few of their stickers. Great stuff. I recommend them.
Okay, I see in chat somebody said Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Oh,
Very good movie.
Haven't
If you
seen
haven't
that.
seen it, definitely check it out.
I might have to do that. So someone from Behance will definitely be getting in touch with you very shortly to get you your stickers.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah, congrats. So yeah, back into this, still making this screen. So this is just generic copy. This is gonna be like a super small synopsis of what this movie is gonna be about.
And I know you want to kind of give yourself a cue of what that's going to be
Yeah.
once you start designing, but there is a Lorem Ipsum plugin now available in the plugins store.
Well, what
Or
am I
not the
doing?
store,
Let's
but-
let's do that. How do I
Yeah,
get
so
there?
go up to the plugins menu at the top
Okay.
and then discover plugins.
Discover plugin.
And I think it's just called Lorem Ipsum. Possibly. Maybe not. It's in there.
Let's see if we-
somewhere.
Okay. Maybe it's Ipsum.
Maybe.
There it is.
Aha, we found it.
So I'm just gonna install that real quick. Already installed. That's
Plugins
super
are great.
fast. Yeah, killer. So how do I implement?
Then you go back up to the plugins menu
Okay.
and you have the Lorem Ipsum plugin and you can just
Fill with placeholder text. Oh, no text.
Oh, I think it's because that's actually a symbol.
Okay.
So if you just create a regular text layer,
So unlink.
or you can
symbol,
unlink it and then try that.
Plugins. Fill with placeholder.
You might have to go into there and actually like select it. There we go.
Okay.
Give that a shot.
Wow. Just totally missed. Okay, here we go. It is not letting me. Maybe it's just because I got this in here. Let me just make a new text box.
We're figuring this out. But plugins are great.
Yeah.
They do work.
Yes.
I think you might have
Yeah.
had the group selected rather than the text layer.
Yeah. I think that's where.
Yeah, so type something, deselect it, and then just select the text layer. There you go. And now fill it. This will work, I promise. Aha, we got a new dialog box. Yay,
Perfect.
there we go. So
Okay.
Lorem Ipsum, now a thing in Adobe XD.
Yeah. And all of that confusion was really more on my part.
Anel prefers real content and not Greek copy. Totally.
Yeah.
And real content will definitely be popped in there at some point.
Yeah. Yeah. But this, like we said, wireframes, you don't need real copy yet.
Yep. There's also a bacon Ipsum somewhere online.
I've actually seen that before. That's pretty awesome.
Yep.
Regular. Did I miss the regular typeface on this? We're just gonna go with medium just for now. Okay. And so you have to think through kind of logically what you want to be on here. What would the user want to see? They might want to see like a trailer. So let's go ahead just real quickly, add in this kind of box. And,
Go ahead and make your application larger again.
oh, that's right. Sorry, I keep forgetting.
That's okay.
Here we go. Yeah, we're just gonna make a box here. And then let's go back over to our icons, which I might want to drag this over so it's not so far away. We're just gonna pull in this play symbol.
Nice. I love those icons.
Yeah. And just drop it in. we're gonna change the color so we can actually see it. It's gonna make it black for now. Okay, and then we're also gonna up the size a bit, maybe 64. Something nice. That's a little too big. See, I can get hung up as well just on the little details.
Oh, absolutely.
And we're just gonna say play trailer. This is kind of big. Maybe it's fine. We got to remember that people might be on the couch, sitting down, and they could be like 12, maybe like 14 feet away from the TV. So when you're looking at this and you're going through it, stuff might need to be a little bit bigger than maybe if you're on mobile, where somebody's got it literally like maybe 2 feet from their face.
Yeah, those are definitely important things to think about, especially if you're designing for television.
Yeah. And then maybe just real quick, just pull this over. Deep. There we go. And then maybe we got some ratings in here. Like maybe this is a tomato meter.
Gotta love Rotten Tomatoes.
And then they just do maybe like 50%. I'm sure it's gotten a much higher percentage than that.
I hope
because Gosling is boss. And we're just gonna kind of leave that there. So moving on. And so another thing that people really want to see is they want to see who's actually in the movie. I just mentioned Gosling, and you might not know anything about this movie, but if you are a fan of Ryan Gosling and you want to see him in a next movie, he's also teamed up with a really cool, really good director in First Man. I think it's the same director as when they did La La Land, which won tons of awards. So they're teamed up again. That would be cool information to kind of know, to help you, to inform you about whether you want to go see this movie. And since, actually, what am I doing?
I was about to ask,
grid.
What are you doing?
Okay, now I got this funny.
There
we go. Gonna just pull this down here. It's all kind of tight down here, but it's just to get the idea on the page. Maybe we're gonna knock this down just a little bit because it's kind of tertiary information. I promise I can speak.
It's been a long day.
Yeah. Cast. And we're gonna make this kind of smaller because I think repeat grid kind of allocates space in between the elements. And if that was long, then it's gonna kind of space it out super wide. So let's go ahead and just do this repeat grid. You guys have already seen this, but it's just beautiful right there. So this is maybe gonna have top cast members in the movie. Maybe we're gonna have the director, because some people like to see movies based on the directors that shot them. And we're just gonna keep moving. So right now, logically, we could go either way with this. If you looked at Fandango, either you can start off by a theater that's near you, so you could pick the theater first and then move into your movie selection that's at that theater, or you could pick the movie and then theaters around you that have that movie could show up on a list. And for this, we want to make them interested right up front. So we're gonna go with movie first, and then we're gonna go with theater selection.
I prefer that myself.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about you, I get less enthused about the theater than I do about the movie I'm seeing.
That's true.
So we're just gonna go through, and if you didn't know, I have a little cheat sheet down here that's got my notes, so make sure that I keep on track with all the juicy details. So we're just gonna kind of keep it similar. We're gonna get rid of this text.
It's always good to reuse the elements if...
Yeah, but we're gonna keep this guy here. We wanna make sure that it's consistent across the board. Gonna get rid of this, and it's nice that it's all grouped together by repeat grid. And then we're just going to, there's actually a nice UI kit bit in this Amazon UI kit that I'm just gonna drag over and edit, which is another bonus of just using this kind of platform. or using this kit.
Yeah, if you can grab elements from a UI kit and save you some time,
Yeah.
might as well.
Yeah, sorry. Taking a hot minute to locate
It's around
it.
there somewhere.
Yeah, I'll find it eventually. Okay, so I think this is maybe it, and we're just gonna have to do a little bit. We're just gonna pull that in. We're gonna have to do a little bit of formatting, but that's cool because what's gonna save time on the back end is just the repeat grid.
Yep.
Gonna unlink the symbol because that might mess up the grid. So, and then we're just gonna change this to our. Oh,
Whoops.
yeah, moving too quick. Here we go. I think this was medium. And so here we go. We're gonna have maybe distance is important, so we're just gonna do 10.2, a little bit closer actually, 6.2 miles. And then maybe some hours, like if we're kind of maybe late at night, and we're not sure if the theater's actually still open, if we're still able to get tickets. This is kind of tertiary information. We might switch this out for tomorrow.
6.2 miles is the closest theater. Man, in San Francisco or LA, that'll take 7 hours to get to.
Yeah, I live in Chattanooga, Tennessee. So
You get there in 4 minutes.
Right. So much less traffic.
Yeah.
And, you know, so.
You can keep it at 6.2.
Yeah, let's
Just
do
messing
it.
with you.
Movie theater. And this is kind of low-key information. So we're actually going to dial back this opacity just a little bit to kind of create a sense of hierarchy.
Yep.
And let's say it opens at like 9:30 a.m. maybe. And we'll keep this the same text box. So 3 a.m. perhaps. I'm not sure. Wow, 3:00. Rookie move there. Okay, here we go.
Yep, traffic is bonkers.
So we got this in here, and I'm so tempted to just go in and start to edit this because the designer side of me wants it to be like perfectly lined up, and I got to fight that urge here.
Fight it, Michael.
All right, here we go. So repeat grid down, and just like that. Actually, we might kind of keep it right there. Here we go. And what's cool is if you decrease the space between these things in one of these cells, it should kind of decrease it for the
Yeah, if
other
you
ones.
hover over, if you have the repeat grid selected, if you hover over in between one of them, you'll see a pink line, but there it is.
Boom, that's what I
That's
was
the
talking
one.
about.
Sometimes
so that way
it's
we
hard
can
to
line
get
that
to, but
up
there it
even
is, yeah.
even better.
Yep.
There's a faint line in here. We might try to get in there. See if we can select that and just up that to 2 pixels and make it a little bit more apparent. That might be too much, but here we go. Yep, gotta stop designing. Gotta keep telling myself that. So here we go.
You need like an AI bot with like a hand in front of you. Every time you start designing while you're trying to wireframe, it just like slaps you in the face.
That should be a plugin.
We should get Peter to create
Yeah.
that plugin.
Exactly. Okay, so here we go. This is all clip. Oh man. Here we go. Let me open this back up again. I remembered this time. Wow, I keep grabbing the wrong stuff. How am I grabbing this? There we go. Just a little bit down. Anyways, okay. So we got our theaters in there. We got a little bit of information.
Yep.
And all they would have to say is select movie theater 1. And then we're gonna go and it would just move them to the next. But here's all kinds of just information. You gotta think about it in like an iterative sense. We made that in probably hopefully it was only like 5 minutes. maybe less. Hopefully even less.
And it could have been done much quicker.
Yeah, but thinking about repeat grid and all that, it would have taken me a lot of time to go through and kind of make these individually. Repeat grid did it in like 2 seconds. And so just on an iterative sense, we're doing super good.
Yeah, and that's why I've started to use XD a lot, especially when I'm thinking about repeated elements. I used to use Photoshop for a lot of my UI and UX work. We were talking about this earlier.
Yeah.
And it was just killing me creating all these repeated elements in Photoshop because first of all, it's a manual process. And then if you want to update this later,
right,
you got to update every single one. But in the repeat grids, you just update one and it does it for the rest.
Yeah, you mentioned Photoshop, but even like, I'm obviously not wanting to badmouth other UI, UX programs out there. None of them really have that to where it's like you can do it super efficiently.
Right.
That. So this is a really good XD only efficiency. Okay, in this next screen, we're gonna kind of move the focus. Jahid, I can't pronounce your name, is just all over making his designs famous right now, boys.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're gonna kind of focus on screen types in that theater, and you wouldn't usually think about some of these in-between steps, but it is good to kind of walk through each individual step, and especially with voice, you can kind of compartmentalize these things because it is going to be so quick. Okay, so if we're thinking about it using your voice, we have it here going, all right, Alexa, let's choose movie 1, whatever that is. You're right here, bam, to the next screen. All right, this sounds good. Alexa, let's choose the theater. So she's just gonna automatically move you to the theater. And then you're like, let's do theater 1, say. And then you're moving into this next screen, which is gonna show the theater. So that way you kind of have a visual sense of what this place looks like. But you have to think about it in those terms. You're putting all of your most important information up there, up front for people to see.
Yeah. And what's really cool about voice, and this may not apply to this specific scenario, but there's a world where you can use multiple commands in a single screen. So if you know the theater you want to go to, you can basically have it programmed to say, okay, Alexa, let's check out this movie at this theater, and it basically skips that second screen and goes straight to the next one.
Yeah, that's also something that we're going to demo on Thursday, is that the power of voice is being able to, at will, skip over steps that you don't necessarily have to go through. So we're going to make sure that we demo that.
The downside of voice is you have to actually talk.
Yeah.
Someone like me, I don't like talking. So.
Yeah. But let's think about this from somebody that's maybe visually impaired.
Exactly, that's a huge benefit.
This, from a UI UX standpoint, somebody who's visually, kind of impaired, they would have a hard time with some of that stuff. Because obviously they wouldn't be able to see where the arrow buttons are. They wouldn't be able to see kind of all the information. The big bonus with voice and with Adobe XD focusing on this is that it's kind of UX UI designers are able to include these cases in their workflow.
Yep. So, and I'm actually thinking about my father-in-law he's had several eye surgeries in the last few years.
Yeah.
Detached retina and all this stuff, and he's been using voice a lot on his iPhone throughout the last few months, and it's been helping him tremendously. So absolutely, people who are visually impaired are going to love stuff like this.
Yeah. It's a game changer feature.
Yeah.
So here we go. We're gonna keep moving, keep bobbing. Gonna change the type on the color on this so we can clearly see it. Gonna move down. Gonna make this. We got 2 that we can kind of choose on this H2, and one is kind of this bolded typeface. Just wanted to make sure I got the right bolding because Poppins has a lot of different weights, which is why I love it. So,
where'd you get Poppins from?
It's actually, you can get it, I believe, from Google Fonts.
Okay.
And if you look at the statistics, it's widely used. It's optimized for web and those kinds of things. So
nice.
It's a really great friendly font or typeface.
Looks good too.
Yeah. we're going to go back to our UI UX kit and pull in a button real quick.
For those working on the challenge, you have about 38 minutes to submit it so that me and Michael can review it. But if you want to submit it later, you can definitely do that. You can submit pretty much until the end of the day, and then you'll be entered to win the Creative Cloud subscription that we'll announce tomorrow.
All right. Dude, I'm super excited to see some of these challenge entries and everything. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Here we go. So I just pulled this in from the UI kit, which is another reason why this is kind of awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have to go through and kind of like do this button real quick or whatever. It was already kind of pre-made, and it's this standard, so you can kind of keep it in the family. Here we go. And so you have to, at this point, oh wow, I pulled this all the way over somehow. Here we go. You have to keep in mind kind of what screen types there are. And some people might think this is kind of a weird, like, are we really focusing on whole screen on this? Yeah, because over the years, in an effort to kind of rebrand themselves and everything, AMC, Cinemark, Cineplex, I'm not even sure if some of these are still in business.
Blockbuster.
They all have their own names for their different screen types.
Mm-hmm.
There's like, I think AMC's got like Big D, which is like their IMAX 3D combo
Right.
and stuff. And some people might prefer that. They might prefer that bigger screen, and that's a game changer for them. And so you want to include that and focus on it a little bit. Let's kind of keep this 24. All right, so let's go with IMAX. And then we're going to line these up. Once
Looks like it was brought in as a symbol, so maybe
I need to unlink the symbol.
Unlink it, yeah.
Bear with me, guys. Gotta make sure that's caps. Not really important, but for some reason it is right now. Okay, so actually, what am I doing? What am I doing? We can just go ahead.
Or repeat grid action.
Repeat gridding this. So let's say there's probably not crazy, like too many options. But boom, and we're ready to move on. So they would just choose a screen type, and there's maybe like standard size.
Do you have any hard and fast rules on text sizes?
So it's kind of interesting. For this, I would not for TV screens. I would not recommend really going below 24, just because. Like I said earlier, somebody might be sitting down on their couch 12 feet away. This doesn't have the benefit of being right in your face like mobile or even your computer screen. They might be kind of far away. And so even when we get into the actual design phase, I have to go the extra step to make sure there's a good contrast so that we're accessibility friendly. We don't want things to kind of blur into each other and all that, especially on these TV screens. So you'll even notice Netflix, Hulu, these TV show things that are already taking advantage of this TV space. They have hard contrasts on a lot of their stuff. Hulu a little less, but I mean, it's something to think about, and it's something we kind of, as UI UX designers, have to account for in this instance. So you guys just saw me. I changed like the orientation or oh my gosh, I'm spacing on the name of the centering.
Alignment.
Okay. Alignment, there we go. On one, and it changed it for all of them. So just a real quick thing.
And I think if you center justify the text, it'll allow you to line it up even better. The longer ones sometimes move off to the side.
Yeah.
See how standard is kind of over there? I think if you center, yeah, and then move those.
Oh, okay. We're just gonna move on because that's my
We'll
fault.
fix that
I did
later
that
in
wrong.
design.
Yeah. All right, so Screen. We're just gonna keep going, keep bobbing, keep moving. So what is next here? We're gonna start to kind of move into ticket pricing. So,
which are astronomically expensive.
Yeah, so if you think about it, we had to choose which screen type before we got into the ticket pricing.
Yep.
Because IMAX is more expensive than like a standard screen. 3Ds kind of be in the middle, and then those are all going to be parsed out differently based on if it's a senior or a child ticket. So
now, do you envision a world where that's all combined into one? Because as a user, I'm just trying to think about the process. Is when I'm at the screen where I'm selecting whether it's IMAX or standard or whatever it might be, I may want to know those prices beforehand.
That's a good idea, and that's something we should probably actually implement for the design phase. I was thinking that in my mind, like, to compartmentalize these just a little bit, so that way, like, maybe the user wants to focus on only on a few things.
Right.
And also because these things kind of have to be bigger, I was a little wary on adding too much to one screen. But I think that's totally doable. We can definitely shorten up this theater picture part and add in like the pricing structure maybe at the bottom of this. But for expedience sake,
yeah, let's keep moving forward for now.
Yeah. So here we go. I already have some work here done kind of on a layout that would work well with this. So I'm just going to shorten up that grid, and then we're going to go through, and we're going to make it so that these things all kind of have their space. I already forgot how to like shorten that up. The in-between spaces of these.
There it goes.
I think that's only handling one though. But okay. All right. So this is kind of all right. We're just gonna do this quick, because I don't want to dwell too much on this one screen. I want to try to get through as many wireframes as possible today. So that way we kind of have we're learning more as we go through, even in this this process where I'm just busting these out really quick. We've already learned that maybe we should add these parts together. I want to get through more so we kind of think through these things.
Yep.
So let's just put adult. And so what else do we need kind of information-wise on here? We can probably get rid of this, which we get rid of one, it gets rid of all of them in this repeat grid. Let's go with senior ticket pricing. And then we got child. And then here we can kind of focus on the price per ticket. So maybe, I don't know San Francisco prices. I'm trying to like $67 for IMAX. Let's change this to.
It's probably about $19, something around there.
Right.
Just a guess.
Okay, so let's do 1 times X. Maybe that's $19. Some weird number,
of
like
course.
97 cents. And then, so senior's probably gonna be a little bit less because they get a discount. Maybe it's like 18. Just pulling these numbers right out of nowhere.
It's not much of a discount.
Yeah, let's maybe give seniors a little bit more of a discount. And then for kids, it's gonna be maybe just 15, 50. I don't know.
Why not?
Okay, there we go. So we want to keep in mind, like, okay, so theater. So we want to keep in mind the theater that we're at. We want to keep in mind the movie that we're seeing. And like we said, we're going to have this beautiful image in the background here, kind of highlighting more of the movie. Keeping some of these things in focus helps the user stay up to date on what all they've kind of already selected.
Right.
So we want to go through, maybe we would add like IMAX, ticket pricing, somebody just said changing child to kids. That's a great move. Kind of makes, definitely makes more sense. And we can already kind of move on. I mean, we're gonna definitely spice up the screen in the design phase, but let's just keep moving.
What do you got next?
So what next? Let's think through this. So now that we've chosen our tickets, we've already kind of committed that we're definitely gonna go see this at this theater, IMAX, and they're gonna have different seating arrangements based on the type of screen type, the theater room that you're gonna be in.
Oh, that's right. And some theaters have assigned seating.
Exactly.
Some do, some don't.
And so we're just gonna go ahead and assume this one does. Just do a little baking show magic and assume that this theater, this IMAX theater, has reserved seating.
Sure.
So we're just gonna go through. And this is actually another, I love repeat grid. So this is gonna be another instance where repeat grid is gonna save us loads of time. We don't have to go through and make every individual seat. So, seat choice, let's just put that out there.
I love that you're naming your artboards.
Yeah.
I often forget to name them.
It's incredibly important to stay, even in this wireframe phase,
Yep.
to stay focused, because you might export these. You gotta think about it on the back end. Say you're sick one day and like this, and you're supposed to present or something. This is a weird niche case, but say you're sick, some other guy's gotta come in and export out these, but he's not sure on the flow of how these are supposed to go or whatever. He could easily export these, and the file type, if I'm not mistaken, is going to reflect these artboard names. And so he'll know exactly, based on the artboard, what is supposed to go next.
Especially if you're working with big teams who might be handling different aspects of your design. It's always good to keep everything up to date and organized.
So we're gonna do, let's change this up a little bit. Movie one, let's say I'm just thinking of a movie theater near me. It's called the Majestic 12.
Sounds fancy.
Yeah, it actually is it's pretty nice.
Does it have those seats at the back where it's like lounge chairs and you can get dinner served to you?
Yes, actually it
that.
does. It has one of those dine-in theaters. So here we go. We're gonna get rid of this stuff. And this is the first time we're gonna break away from having this in there. What we're still gonna do is, and I'm not really showing this in this screen, but just so you guys know, we're still gonna have that image in the back here. But, so here we go. People need to know which direction the screen is.
Yep.
So that way they can make an informed decision about where they should have their seating. And so we're gonna have, let's say, this little square is gonna be a seat, and maybe just add a little rounding. I don't know why I added rounding, but I'm feeling saucy right now.
There you go.
So here we go. And so we're just gonna repeat grid this over. We can center that once we're
Look at that.
good and done. So those are your seats, and let's say it's a super basic theater, and it's just got the seats like this. I mean, obviously some of them are gonna have like seats off to the side here, and all that stuff. But for the sake of just kind of busting through these screens, we're gonna make it just a pure rectangle seating arrangement.
Now, Ryden has a really good idea.
What's up?
Reserved seating should tell you the age range of the seats around you. So if you don't want to be sitting next to kids,
Interesting.
I like that.
That is really cool.
I can't imagine any theater would actually implement that for various reasons, because it can definitely go in the wrong way, but
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, or, I mean, imagine if you're an adult and you love Pixar movies. I love Pixar movies, but I don't necessarily want to sit next to a bunch of kids that might be talking a lot during the thing. It would be cool to kind of be able to do that. But yeah, it might have that kind of aspect of where you're just like, I don't know, maybe it's kind of downing on kids coming to theaters. You don't want to make it like a negative stigma where it's like, oh, do you know?
Yeah.
where theaters have a voice in whether they want kids to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and just to add a little bit of flair, we're not going to spend too much time on this. And we're just going to pull that out.
Ooh, now we're getting fancy.
Yeah. This is probably even too much for a wireframe. And so we're actually going to go through. This is the first time I've used a gradient in this whole time because wireframes, you don't really need to play with gradients at all. We're going to go through. I think I accidentally just added a new color. It doesn't matter. We're going to make that 0, 0. And so that way they can kind of get a gist of where the screen's at. Okay. And then, so we got this seating here. Select the whole grid. Gonna try to move that up just a little bit because we want to actually implement some choices down here. We're going to kind of just quickly create some text right here. And this is going to be maybe reserved because we need to show what seats are already taken.
Right.
And then what seats, and this is also thinking through the interaction. Maybe there's a handicap person that's going to be wanting to order an app through here, and they need to, or not order an app, order a seat through here. They're going to need to know where those spots are in the theater. So I don't know why I typed out researched. Reserved. Wow. I am one track right here. Okay. There we go. And we're just also going to go through.
You've clearly been doing a lot of research.
Yeah. Actually, I mean, I will tomorrow. I'm going to highlight a bit more some preliminary things I did look up. Like there's reasons behind why you do everything. I'm choosing 1080p because I found out that like 62% of people still have 1080p.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah.
TVs in their thing. So I went for the widest net first. Obviously 4K is catching up, but there's a lot of preliminary research that I'm going to kind of elucidate tomorrow when we do our stream. Here, let me hyper focus on this real quick. Where I'm going to take off that. Going to make it just a little bit opaque. Not opaque, gray. Okay, there we go.
Long day.
Yeah.
Words are hard.
Yes. And these are probably not in the right order. Available should probably be on the left, and then as you get more specific, kind of come out to this side. But maybe we're gonna just choose a random color.
And should you round out those as well?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that in just a second. I should have, before I utilize the repeat grid.
That's okay.
I should have.
There's only
done
3
that.
of them.
Yeah.
It's easy to update.
And I think these are technically called accessibility spaces. So, okay. So we got that nice and quick. It's focused. Obviously, we probably should go through and probably like massage this a little bit more, make this bigger, take up more of this space. But you want to keep it simplistic. So so this introduces us into the next challenge of this screen, which is how do we select a specific space?
Just about to ask you that.
Okay, so
You read my mind.
yeah. So I'm still working on a solution for this even now. And, I'm obviously like not perfect. This is not going to be perfect at this moment because I still got to think about it. And I'm open to suggestions if chat's got a better idea. I believe it was Ryder that made that suggestion about the kids' spaces.
Yeah, Ryden, I think.
If you guys have another suggestion about how to work through these screens, I'm all ears. Definitely something to consider. So let's just go through and say this is going to be space 1.
It's almost like bingo at this point.
Yeah. And out here, we're going to kind of create a graph. And this is going to be A. So repeat grid again. And these are a little bit off, but we can kind of go in here and make it work. I'm going to have to go through and obviously like align those up on the design phase. But it is interesting how like different that is. There we go. And just up that's a little bit closer. So, and then for here, we're going to repeat grid that as well. And I'm making sound effects because that's who I am.
As designers, that's what we do. We make sound effects.
When we're happy about efficiencies like that, we tend to make sound effects.
Absolutely.
And so here, these are all obviously the same number. These are all obviously the same letter, but they would go through and it would be like D7. And so the words you would use would be like, Alexa, choose seat D7 and FB, or D8, say. And that would actually, according to this, make it like one in front of each other. So we'll have to think through that. But it would make it, it allows the user to kind of make it easy.
Yeah. I wonder if it can also, right when you get to this screen, if it can also suggest 2 seats.
Yeah.
Or 1 seat, or however many seats that you chose previously. Recommend the best seats initially, and then it can say, based on your selection, I've chosen these 2 seats. If it's okay, confirm. If not, let me know which seats you want.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great idea, and something we should
cut down
definitely
on some possible steps.
go through.
Use Adobe Sensei to choose your seats.
Yeah. I cannot. I'm just reading through NL's comment there. Yeah, I mean, if I'm stuck on a problem like that, I tend to try to overwork the problem in this phase. But honestly, this is where you're iterating quickly. So if you have another idea that goes along with here, you just, let me go back here. You would just dupe this, and all of a sudden you can like kind of work in another idea. And
Leo also has, sorry to interrupt, but Leo also has a good point about seat spacing. I clearly need more caffeine.
yeah.
You have this massive screen. You can definitely space out the seats a little bit more. And because you're using repeat grids, it's so easy to do.
Yes, precisely.
Yep.
And here's the thing about this kind of structure that we have with these out here. If we needed to, like some movie theaters have angled seats.
It's true.
And so you're kind of wondering, like, how would you do that? How would you kind of create this repeat grid or whatever? That's where you would kind of have to create maybe a new grid or something like that. But it's how you would do these kind of lineups is you would just maybe make a line in between these different seats, and it would kind of be that amphitheater style where it's, it's kind of wrapping around and it's going in between here, and you would just have the A kind of at that thing. So you can kind of keep, I'm saying kind of a lot, but you can keep up with where the rows are. So, all right, anyways. I think for right now, this is okay. This is obviously spaced weird, and it makes me uncomfortable, just in case it's making anybody else out there uncomfortable.
Just a little bit.
We're gonna definitely play around with that a little bit tomorrow. So, but we're gonna keep moving. And I've already gotten some really good feedback from you guys, and it's definitely gonna inform the decisions on how we're doing things tomorrow.
Ryan is asking if anyone else is seeing those invisible dots in between the seats. You know that optical illusion where there's a bunch of squares together, and if you stare at it long enough, you see the dots?
Yeah.
Zoom in and stare at that screen.
Oh, wow.
You start to see it?
Yeah. Like kind of at the corners, at the intersection of the corners, those little dots show up. That's interesting.
Look what you've done.
All right. So right now we're at the kind of, we've picked our seats, we've picked our screen type, we've gone through, picked our theater, picked our movie, etc. We're kind of ready, right? We're ready to complete this purchase.
Sure. And for those working on the daily challenge, we have about 15 minutes left to get them in so that me and Michael can go ahead and review those.
Okay, so actually, I'm not gonna dupe that screen. We're gonna go back, we're gonna dupe this screen.
Everyone's seeing dots. Thanks, Michael.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I think one person said creepy. Yes, definitely a little creepy.
A little bit.
So here we go. So here's kind of going to be where our checkout screen is. We're just gonna have checkout.
It's vibrating. Oh boy, what's happening now? This optical illusion's getting weird.
Yeah. I'm glad, I think everybody's probably glad that I moved off that screen. So here we go. We're gonna kind of go through this screen. This is kind of a tricky screen because you got a lot of, things to consider at this phase. You have to kind of make sure that you're giving them a receipt. So it's gotta include it's gotta be a summation of all the details that you've gone through so that people can actually feel confident about their purchase.
Yep.
So what we're gonna do, and I can kind of wing it here. So it would be cool if this kind of looked like a ticket. So kind of making people excited about the prospect.
A little bit of, zoomorphism.
Yeah.
Pseudomorphism?
Skewmorphism.
Skewmorphism. It's been a while since that was a thing.
So
Remember the old Apple days when they had the Game Center stuff going on? That was interesting.
Yeah.
That was just over the top.
I remember that. Yeah, it was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I'm glad we've departed a little bit, but I have a feeling that it's going to come back around, and it's going to be another interesting
I just hope
time.
it's not overdone.
So you know how like an older timey ticket, they got this kind of notch in there.
Yeah.
Where it's maybe a little perforated. We're not going to go too much into that, but for the design
Did you cut
screens
that
tomorrow,
out, or did you just overlay a circle?
I just overlaid a circle just
Okay.
for the sake of quickness. I
Okay.
could totally cut that out though if I wanted to, and it would be fine. So here we go. I actually have to have notes about what all needs to kind of be on this screen because it's so easy to forget. So we have our movie right here, and we're gonna continue to kind of build that excitement so it's there. So let's maybe pull in another icon. Wow, I'm sorry, I zipped fast here. So we're gonna want to look for one that maybe has to do with GPS. So just looking real quick. Don't know.
It's hard to see amongst all those icons sometimes.
Yeah. Here we go. Actually, it might not even be in this UI Kits icon pack. So what we'll do is just kind of use text. So
That works too.
maybe we just say that this is. So we're gonna recap. I'm desperately trying not to say kind of anymore. If you guys can't notice. Wow, I just got rid of my text box. So here we go. Theater. Am I doing something?
No, you make sure to select. Yeah,
There we go.
I was telling Peter earlier, it'd be really cool, because I run into this a lot, it'd be really cool that if Adobe XD can detect what color the background is and make sure that the text that you type by default is not the same color.
Okay. Yeah, I can see how that would be.
I
yeah,
do that
would be
all the time.
super
I'm
useful.
typing on a white background and the text is white and you can't see anything.
So we need to have theater choice in there. I'm just gonna kind of loosely, let's go with screen type. Actually, movie. I know it's right here, but just for like, if this is gonna be a sort of precursor to what they're gonna receive in their email, you want it to have, it's obviously their email probably isn't gonna have this image in it. So we wanna make sure that the receipt that they receive in their email states all the details.
Yep.
So, okay. Sorry, there we go. Time. And then, let's see, seats. These are, we're gonna put like more tertiary information over to the right.
Well, they also have the option on one of these screens to I know you mentioned email, but will they also have the option to send it to their mobile phones or scan a QR code or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean that would be a great idea as well. So, yeah, I mean that would be a great idea as well. So let me go through. So we got movie, we got theater choice, we got screen type, we got time, seats.
Was the price on there?
Yeah, yes, there we go. The price should probably be on there.
Yeah. I think that's the
Let's
last
go
one we're
with-
missing.
Like price breakdown, just so I can kind of know where it's supposed to be. We're gonna make that up, bring that up here, center that. There we go. So this is all gonna, kind of just outline the information.
Mm-hmm.
So behind that notch, maybe we should have an image of the screen. So I can move these down. Or an image of, not the screen, excuse me. We're going to have an image of the theater. So we'll move that to the front. And then, so let's add some kind of secondary information. Maybe they would want to know the runtime of the movie. I guess they probably wouldn't in this screen.
They might.
So
They may not. Who knows? It's probably not primary information. But
yeah. So in this price
good to have.
breakdown, we're gonna have probably a number of tickets. Sorry, I'm like really thinking through this right now. So if I seem like I'm kind of scattering, it's because I'm taking a kind, I actually before this had like this screen kind of mapped out. But then after thinking it through, like even during this stream, I decided to switch it up. And so that's why you're kind of seeing me work through out loud the problem in my mind. And so if I'm seeming kind of jumbled, that's
good because
that's
as
it.
designers, we all go through this. We have an idea in our mind. We even sometimes have an idea on paper, and that just doesn't translate properly. Or as we're designing
Right,
it,
yeah.
we think of new things. Like I'm sitting here just throwing ideas at you,
Yeah.
and you're thinking, "Oh, I didn't think of that. Now I got to restructure the whole thing."
Right. So
It happens.
so
All part of the process.
So yeah, sorry if I seem a little jumbled.
No,
I'm
you're
just
good.
desperately, trying to work through this screen to make it make sense. And maybe we don't spend too much more time on this screen because it's hard to show this without going into like kind of the minutia of the text details. And that might not be what we actually kind of need for this wireframe.
No.
If we're just kind of going through quickly, say I even need to kind of go back and make sure that I'm adhering to the quick workflow and everything. So, but I am gonna like kind of just move these down just a little bit so that this maybe gets some more space. So, and after this kind of checkout screen, it's just gonna go to the this screen where it basically says, thank you for your purchase. Check out your email, make sure you get the email confirmation.
And how does payment work on a system like this?
That's actually a good thing that maybe we should probably put in this checkout screen. It's like, what form of payment are you gonna go with? But since it's through Amazon, and the
that's
great
right.
thing about Amazon is you probably already have, and Semrat I actually don't know if I just said your name right, but he brought up a good point. You might not even need that movie image for the checkout screen. So that's a good thing, something to look at for tomorrow. But when it comes to Amazon and like checking out and all that kind of stuff, they have your credit card usually already on file.
They have everything.
So if Flix is able to work through that API and tap into that credit card, you would just go through this and it would already have a preferred credit card on file and use that. And if you're using Amazon for a credit card, you're probably comfortable with the purchase going through there.
That's true.
But we should have some way in this to maybe change that, because who knows, maybe...
Yeah, some people may not be comfortable using Amazon, or maybe they have to use a different credit card, or there's so many different edge cases that you have to really start to think about these things. Obviously, we're probably not going to touch on all of this during this session, because you can go really in depth with adding a new credit card, removing credit cards, but we're not going to worry too much about that.
Yeah. So in this last screen, it's just going to be super simple. We're gonna mostly just yank out a lot of this stuff that kept us within that screen where it's like emphasizing the movie. So we want to tell the user that you're getting pulled out of that. You're getting pulled out of that hyper interaction. And you're going to be moving back into like the Flix transition, I guess you could say. So we're going to pull out this box that kept you in there. And so we got this kind of blank screen, and we're going to go all the way back to our splash screen. Grab that, bring it on over, and it's just going to...
Is there any possibility that next time XD will be like Muse, able to export into HTML? At the moment, XD is definitely just a design tool, but that being said, there are already a few plugins that will allow you to export to HTML, Swift, CSS, all that fun stuff. So I think, at least for the time being, plugins are going to be your go-to if you want to export to any sort of language.
Awesome. All right, so here we have kind of this final screen. I just pulled this over from the beginning of our workflow, in the very beginning with the Amazon screen, because I don't
accomplished a lot during this.
Yeah. I mean, I got hung up on that checkout screen, but if you look through this full process, we've gone through a lot, and I'm actually really proud of everybody involved out there that kind of stuck with us and was able to like keep bringing in new ideas into the mix as we kept going, because we've done a lot through this.
You have. I've done nothing. You've done everything.
Yeah, so we're just gonna go through, gonna change this to Flix's, and change that to, we're just gonna say, you will receive email confirmation shortly. And here's something we can kind of add into this. Since Alexa, it's hooked up to a lot of things in your life usually. It's usually got commutes kind of down. It's got a GPS hooked into it. So what we can do here is actually bring in how far away or how long the commute is, not commute, but how long it'll take us for us to get to the theater.
Interesting. Okay.
So
that's a good idea.
So maybe we just say, I haven't thought through this too much, but traffic is light, 12 minutes to Majestic 12. I'm going to use the name because that's what comes to mind.
It also depends on what time and what day the movie is. If it's next Wednesday at 4 o'clock, then the copy might change to recommend like by an estimate on how long it would take.
That is actually an awesome thing to bring up because it could vary. I mean, you could say, I don't want to see it right now. I want to see it later in the day around 4. What I wonder, usually what's the traffic, or how long would it take me to get there during that time, according to the data that Alexa has accrued over a while. So we have to keep in mind how smart Alexa is.
Yeah.
She really is a great product, and to not use all that she offers would, kind of decrease the value to the user.
Yeah.
So.
Looks like the challenge deadline did just pass. We'll give it another, let's finish up this screen, and then we'll jump in and review some of these beautiful portfolios.
Yeah, I think all we really have to do, actually think we're kind of finished.
We good?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just gonna be, it's supposed to be just really simple and straight to the point. And out of this, you would just get dropped back into, scrolling to this screen. Maybe it'll say a thank you message or whatever. But yeah, I think we can go ahead and jump into
Sweet.
these
Let's
portfolios.
do it. Let's hop over to my screen and let me refresh to make sure we have all the updated ones. And we do. So let's go ahead and start at the bottom. And this is the first one.
All right.
Here we go.
Very cool.
Experience Designer, Selvam.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right.
I like the background image.
Yeah, the background image is super vibrant. Your check portfolio definitely stands out, which is good for a call to action. You might want to dial back the background image vibrancy just a little bit because your body text kind of just gets lost up against that background. And you're talking about maybe a 20% opacity, maybe even a little bit less, just to make that body type pop a little bit more. But I do like how just simple it is. The landing page of your portfolio doesn't need to be super crazy. I mean, if you guys looked at mine, it's very simple. It also only has like 3 things at the top there. So yeah.
I would also love to see, and this kind of applies to all of the portfolios that are coming in, I would love to see some work on the main screen.
Yeah.
And it really depends, some websites it'll work, some it won't, but I love just landing on a page and seeing work just front and center. Kind of gives me an idea of what you are or who you are as a designer.
Exactly.
So cool, this is great. Hopping over to the next one.
Ooh.
All right.
Okay, I'm a sucker for purple.
I like the purple at the top.
You didn't know that, so I don't know who you talked to, but I love purple.
I'm also kind of digging the typeface.
Yeah.
The little E with just the lines is kind of cool. It's a little fancy.
I don't know if the people out there, they might not remember a movie called Elysium. It had Matt Damon in it. Kind of obscure. But they were one of the first to do this super minimalistic type really well.
Okay.
I would actually recommend maybe checking that out to kind of see how to go through that type, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And did they do that all right now? I'm kind of.
They may have.
This is a good amount of work. I'm actually impressed about.
They had until this morning when we went live with Peter until now, so it's possible.
Yeah, it's definitely possible.
Yeah. Portfolio pieces here.
So I'm seeing the green, and I love the color dynamic of purple and green. It's the color of the Joker.
That's true.
It's got a precedent like that. But it seems when it gets small, it kind of disappears a little bit. Like I'm looking at this My Portfolio section that we're focused on right now. The green disappears there just a little bit. You might want to have either a third color or go overall with a darker color green or something. Something to bring that out just a little bit more. Alternatively, because that's light, I'm pointing at your screen, sorry. Because that's so light and web design, photography, and all that's so dark, I'm almost getting the opposite effect, where I see web design, photography, branding first before I see your highlighted part. And I should see the highlighted part first. And I think maybe lightening the other text would help out as well.
Right. Now this section down here, the skills section, Peter kind of touched on this earlier, is in most cases, employers and people don't care about the percentages of that these applications. They just care whether you know them or you don't know them. So knowing, if I was trying to hire somebody, knowing that someone knows Adobe Photoshop 95%, Doesn't matter to me. Just tell me you know Photoshop, you know Adobe XD, you know After Effects, whatever it might be.
Right.
It's a nice use of these little progress circles, but it may not be necessary.
Yeah. So how you executed on this is great, but I think the idea of putting percentages on your skills, like having 60%, I mean, in school, you know, a 60% is a D.
That's true. Not very good.
70% for Adobe Illustrator, a 70% is a C. So, I mean, you're kind of saying like I'm average at Illustrator and I'm below average at InDesign.
That's a good point.
And that's cool. But if you're trying to get hired somewhere, you want to like really accentuate your strengths.
Yeah.
And, you know, so.
Testimonials are always good.
Yes.
Yep. Love that. Yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
What do you think about the green on the purple up here?
I don't think you need it. You know,
No.
I think if you just kept it white,
Yeah.
and maybe your hover state is green, or your selected state, or something like that. But I think having that green right now, you can almost, it's hard to actually see.
Yeah.
So it might just not need that.
Yeah, it works for the buttons, but I think for, especially for home, you can just bold that.
Yeah.
Keep it white, but bold it and make these ones a little bit, keep those the same, just bold home.
Yeah. And if that's an image of you, that's a great photo.
That is a great photo.
Yeah.
Great.
So.
Moving on. Bam. All right.
Interesting. Okay. So we have a lot on here. That's the first thing that kind of hits me. I do like that you have this just really cool, I think it's cool. I like how you did your about kind of on the side there.
Yep.
Because it's pairing the person with the work, and that can be really strong. So I'm guessing.
Oh, I think so. This
This
little
is a selected
pop-up
state?
is, it's a
Okay.
selected state for this first project.
Okay. And I wish I could talk to the person kind of behind their intention here, but if the intention is that you select that and you can kind of scroll through the whole case study, that's really interesting. But if that's not the case and you're kind of just bringing that up, I think it might be a better presentation to move it into a whole other page. But besides that, I think you got a lot going on here. And I would try to trim down the amount of work to like the 8 best things.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I think maybe after 12, people are going to kind of stop, you know? So I would do 8 best things, accentuate them more. Yeah, it does have a good contrast, so you can read it you can read it well. I would do the 8 top things that you're most proud of, so they can be bigger, and that way you can show it off more. But
Agreed. Yep. Looks good.
so I'm probably talking too much about each of these. We got
No, that's fine. We have time. This is a long one. All right.
I could tell just
see.
from
Whoa.
the
Nope, that's us.
hey.
Okay.
I could tell just
There
from
we go.
even the thumbnail that this was going to be pretty interesting.
I like the colors. They're simple
Yeah.
and they work.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm still taking it in. Can we get a little scroll down? Let me see the rest of it. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Go back to the top. So I like the color usage here. It's really interesting. I like the layout in general, but because your background image has these like dots going and it's got these like kind of little knickknacks all around the place, it makes it, I almost feel like, are those part of the UI? You know, is that part of something I'm supposed to click on?
Right. It kind of looks like it's leading your eye to click
Yeah.
on creative.
Yeah, I'm Simrat, and it's leading right to creative. I mean, that's a cool lead of the eye, but I think if that back was a little more dialed down, but yeah. the way you did your projects. That's interesting. I like how it's like kind of you have it kind of off to the side here. You're kind of showing people what's coming next, so it encourages them to click through.
There's that same image again.
Yeah, is that like
I don't know.
Image? Just
Maybe.
passed around? Okay. You're telling a little bit about yourself. We are here. Once again, we got this percentage thing, and I know the temptation to do that. You did show that you're like not below 90%, so you're getting rid of like the 70% and the 60% proficiency and stuff, and that's a good move. But I would much rather just have a list of things that you're good at. Like, I'm creative. What do you got? Creativity, designing performance. I would go into specific proficiencies, maybe in different programs and stuff.
Yep.
So
Case studies are always great.
yeah.
I would say maybe turn up the opacity a little bit on this
Yeah.
image here. If that is one of your pieces,
Yes.
we definitely want to be able to see that.
Yeah.
And then a little ending statement.
But
Great.
there is a lot of intrigue here. I like how you're doing these squares because you're kind of making the information more succinct that way.
Yep.
And the way you have your text, there's clear hierarchy there. I mean, that's good. So
Awesome.
yeah.
How many more? Where are we? I got lost. Here we go. This one. Right?
Yeah.
It's
All
got
right,
so
going
big.
for the throat on the big text at the top.
go.
That's cool.
I kind of
Interesting.
like the big text. The only
Yeah.
thing that makes me not like the big text is it kind of distracts from, it takes away from your actual work, right?
Yes.
I'm imagining if you're on a website, this is going to be kind of like smack in your face, and then you have to scroll down to see anything else.
Yeah. Yeah, you have a lot about yourself, but it would be cool to see more of the work, boom, right away. Go back up just a little bit. So if you were to beef up this top type in your landing page section, if you were to make it thicker, you could even put work as kind of behind that. So maybe the portfolio was knocked out, and behind that was like maybe a piece of work that you've done. Maybe with Alexander as well, possibly, but it would have to be very thick type to make that work well.
Yep. But overall, the colors are great. I mean, it's very simple. It's kind of monotone, but it works.
Yeah, actually, just a side note on a black and white portfolio. This is actually a pro tip that I got from Peter when I was like building out my new portfolio site. I originally went, this is just a side personal note, I originally went with like a color scheme that was like blue and yellow and red and like kind of all this stuff. And what happens is if you have your work in there, those colors are gonna clash with colors that are in your projects.
Right.
So a black and white portfolio is not gonna clash with maybe the different colors of the different projects that you have featured. So it's a good move to make it this kind of monotone color. That way your work really pops out.
Yep. Love it. All right. Who do we have? Gladstone.
Cool. Just boom.
I like that image at the top.
Yeah, I like how you have him kind of in front of the text. I would almost make the text back there a little bit thicker.
Yeah.
I
I do like the way the navigation is kind of separated by Gladstone Davis at the top. It's kind of nice. It's elegant.
Yeah. This about me kind of pill, I would not do such a harsh circle on that. This is a great time to kind of do that about me. Just a little blurb like that. It's not taking up too much space before it gets into your projects, which is perfect.
Yep.
But it kind of feels weird that it's so circular, I guess.
It does. It looks almost like the text is too close to the edge.
Yes.
So if you are set on keeping that complete circle edges, maybe bring the text in just a little bit.
Yeah. And I think Anel just brought up his hair. Go back up to his hair. And she might be referring to how it's cut out. It maybe looks like there's some white in there, but I know you guys are doing this really quick, but making sure you're getting, like, hair is really hard to do when you're cutting it out, but making sure you're getting as close as possible to the actual hairline. So.
Yep.
Okay.
Nice.
So
I'm assuming you click on these and
Yes.
it goes to the different motion. So these, I guess these are individual projects.
Yeah.
And they're tagged. Okay, got it.
I'm getting it.
Got it. You can see all. Blog. Okay. All right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a nice contact form at the bottom.
Yeah. What I'm noticing with this one and a little bit on the last one. The last one, the emphasis was that things are kind of big.
Yeah.
But like your contact, and I think if you go up just a little bit, blogs and projects, you can let these things breathe just a little bit more. So if you made that smaller, and you can maybe bump up the, the weight a bit, it might help kind of create some separation between the different sections, and allow it to breathe more, which allows the user's eye to separate sections for you.
Yep.
So.
Awesome. Moving on to this one.
All right. Okay. I see what you're going with on this. Once again, it doesn't need to be so many different projects. I see where you're going. You want to put all of your work out there. You want to make sure that, everything is there. But I don't think you need this separation between most recent work to latest updates. Just go, boom. This is the thing I'm most proud of. Because I'm trying to think of, as a creative director, would I necessarily care too much if it was the latest thing you've updated?
Right, you want to see the best work.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also think you can probably combine these sidebars so that it doesn't look too repetitive, and that'll give you more room to actually show off some of your work.
Yeah.
2 profile pictures probably don't need, and then the posts and followers you can probably put underneath over here on the side.
Yeah.
And you can also possibly put the navigation at the top, again, so it clears off one of the sidebars so you can enlarge your work.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, but it's very clean.
Yeah.
Looks good.
And just a little thing, making sure you probably were whipping this out pretty quick, not quack.
Quack.
Sorry. Making sure your shadows are consistent throughout.
Yeah.
But
Great. And we've got, how many more? We have quite a few more. Okay, we got to start whipping through some of these.
Sorry. Here we go.
All right, we got some gradients going on. Angry Birds.
Gradients are so hot right now.
Gradients are
and
hot.
Not just because this is red. All right, so this is good. I like how simple it is. You got the clear hire me. Does it have anything down?
No.
Okay, so it's just a single. I would actually not use black in this instance. I would go soft and I would go white. So you have all your text black, you have your Angry Birds black. What would make it, the thing that you have here is super kind of uplifting and fun. I would try to make it more fun, and I think white might help with that.
I think so, yeah. And if you did create these, this looks really cool.
Yeah.
Great work, if that is yours. And Jennifer.
Okay. So I'm guessing this is a photography portfolio, which is cool because right away you're showing some things that you've taken pictures of. Yeah, okay. Interesting.
Definitely great use of imagery.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure. Maybe this is where she was living at the time or working at the time. Not quite sure exactly what this is.
Yeah, I would actually give some context for those things.
Yeah.
Maybe, I know this is a flat image, but if it was your intention if you were to hover over that, maybe something pops up that's like an image from that time. That's cool. But definitely let these things breathe a bit more. Just as a rule of thumb, you kind of want 150 pixels in between your sections. And right now it looks like kind of maybe 80.
It's a bit squished.
Sometimes you don't have any separation. It's just boom, right into the next content. And you have to think from a mobile standpoint, wowzers, so big.
I like this. Nice touch. Not a real number.
Yeah. You have to think from a mobile standpoint. This has got to work on a lot of different devices. Having that separation helps.
Well,
and this blank screen is super clean.
Very clean. All right. Moving on to Beck.
All right.
All right. Got a lot of green.
Yeah. Yeah, this is actually really nice and clean.
Yeah.
I brought this up earlier, but I would put down an opacity layer on that image so that your body text stands out, because your menu is almost like entirely lost in the image. This is very nice though. Things feel like they have more breathing space. Within each box, there's some nice cushioning there, or some nice padding, which your developer is going to thank you for. And then, you got some clear section for work. I would actually move that to the top more. If you can't tell, we're there's a general theme that your work needs to take center place, even above the skills that you declare that you have and all that stuff. So and not to beat a dead horse, but we got the skill bars again. So I would just use that space to make a nice cool list. So
awesome. And we have 9 left. And we have 4 minutes.
These look good though.
Here we go.
I'm excited.
All right, very simple, very clean.
Yeah. Okay, you got those are supposed to be CTAs.
I'd love to see a little bit more work here. One photo's great, but maybe a little small gallery at the bottom, or maybe can pop up an image full screen. I'm assuming this is possibly photography. Yeah,
I would maybe make it a slider or something like that, and maybe show that there's more slides on the other end of this.
This is a personal preference, but I'm not a big fan of underlining navigation links. I prefer bold versus regular or light or something like that.
Yeah,
that's a personal thing.
If you are going to underline, I would actually not use the system. I would not use the system-specific underline and just leave it at that. I would create a line that's a few pixels down, give it some room, and that way it feels more intentional.
Yep. And I say that as that design that I showed off earlier with the mountains had an underline. Oops. All right, moving on. Alexander.
All right. So you got your work right up front, and
hashtags. Hashtags
enabled.
are interesting.
View all. So when they click on that, I guess they get more of that space that the image is okay.
Mm-hmm.
I see. So you got a web design. Go back up a little bit. You got web design. You got graphic design, photography. Okay. I would actually make the hashtag. I know it's super cool to have the hashtag in there. I would make it a tertiary piece of information. And I keep using that word tertiary, and I'm making sure I overpronounce it because I'm only human. But I would kind of leave that as something, I would move that down and just have the title of that image or something like that be the centerpiece.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's cool that you showed your process. That's really cool.
Yep.
So.
Cool. And this one here. I see Pringles. Now I'm hungry.
Ooh, I actually really like this.
What? Oh, I lost it again.
Not that I didn't like the others. I said actually as a matter of emphasis. So, super simple, sleek. Yeah.
Don't see that very often anymore.
I would encourage people to do that more because these Retina screens really take advantage of those super thin serifs. So, cool.
The staggerness is kind of nice.
Yeah.
Breaks it up a little bit. All right.
Yeah. This is a really
it's
solid.
It's clean, it's simple.
Yeah. Solid. There's not too many bells and whistles, but honestly, you don't need too many.
Yeah.
It's all about the work.
Yeah.
So.
I like it. And we've got Gina. Ooh.
This is interesting.
I like this work.
Yeah. If these are your drawings, this is amazing.
This is really nice illustration.
Please teach me. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, really. I wish I can do this.
Yeah, these are incredible. I do have a few illustrations on my site, but not at this level. This is really cool. Wow.
This is cool. Comics. This is an interesting about section.
Yeah.
It's all illustrated. I really like this one.
And this is good because this would look fantastic in mobile.
Yeah.
I would actually encourage you to take more advantage of the space that you had there on the desktop version.
Yeah.
you can set those things up as they show up on mobile to kind of be in the proper succession. But that way, in this view, even we get the cool. It's just bigger and more in your face.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
All right, we gotta whip through
sorry,
these last
man,
ones.
I'm over talking here.
All right.
Okay.
Got an about screen.
So this
wireframe, I guess.
This is kind of an interesting idea.
Huh.
You're emphasizing the user experience side of the UI UX profession, which is cool. It is a weird juxtaposition between the typeface that you've chosen and then this kind of the squiggly line style.
Right.
I would definitely look back at that. Maybe the body text is fine, but for your bigger text like that, maybe do something more character. That's got more character to it.
Oh, I see. This is probably one screen, and if you click on like work, it probably maybe collapses into.
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of
Cool.
neat.
That's cool.
Interesting. Almost there. An L.
Oh snap! I've seen her in the chat a lot, so this is. I'm excited for this. Okay. This is looking good.
Apple Watch. I like seeing Apple Watch stuff.
Yeah.
Or just any
That's
sort of
actually-
watch, web or mobile.
Yeah.
It's nice to see.
It's
Clean, it's simple.
Yeah.
I like that blue. I'm a big fan of light blue.
Yeah. For this, the go-to here, I'm digging what you have here. For the go-to call to action down there, I would actually just expand that out all the way. Make that go-to just more nested, and you're good.
Yeah.
So.
And she added a little bit of a background behind the image.
Yeah.
Kind of
so
like you
your
were
work's
saying
right
earlier.
there.
Yep. Nice. And we've got, who was that? That was, Nell again. Okay.
Got another submission.
Oh, that might be like an overlay for some of the work.
Okay.
I think.
This looks
that.
like maybe it's a mobile thing.
Oh, could be.
Possibly.
Nice. And Marek.
Ooh.
We got some gradients going on.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a sucker for gradients.
I am too.
But so is the rest of the world right now. So
I like the little wavinesses.
yeah. Yeah, this is really solid.
Yep. It's very simple. Work is more or less front and center.
Yeah.
All right, we're getting the wrap it up sign.
All right, here we go.
All right, one more I think.
This is another.
Lena.
This is solid. This is really simple.
I love it. Love that little overlay.
Yep.
About me, very simple.
Yeah,
Nice.
this is the gradient is subtle and
Gradients.
nice.
I love
So.
it. And I think that's it. Awesome. So that's gonna wrap it up. We're gonna be back tomorrow. You're gonna be tackling the design.
Yep.
I'm gonna be back with Peter in the morning, tackling who knows what, more design for his app. And this has been fun. You have fun?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow, bright and early at 9 a.m. Pacific, and then we'll be back at 1. And then Gus and Evan will be back at 11. All right. See you later.